You ever notice how after binging an entire season of your favorite show, you feel this weird mix of satisfaction and emptiness at the same time? Like you just spent 8 hours doing something that felt great in the moment, but now you're sitting there at 3 in the morning wondering where your entire weekend went and why you feel more exhausted than when you started. That feeling isn't an accident, and what I'm about to reveal to you goes way deeper than just poor time management or lack of willpower. The entertainment industry has discovered something that governments and institutions have known for centuries. The easiest way to control a population isn't through force or fear. It's through pleasure. See, when you're having fun, when you're distracted, when you're entertained, you're not thinking, you're not questioning, you're not building, and most importantly, you're not threatening the status quo. This isn't some wild conspiracy theory. This is documented strategy that's been refined over decades, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. Let's go back to ancient Rome for a second, because this is where the playbook was written. The Roman Empire understood something fundamental about human nature. A population that's well-fed and entertained won't revolt. They called it bread and circuses, and it was genius in its simplicity. The emperors would provide free grain to the poor and finance massive spectacles at the Colosseum. Gladiator fights, theatrical performances, public executions turned into entertainment. The citizens were so absorbed in these distractions that they didn't notice their rights being stripped away, didn't question the corruption, didn't organize against the growing inequality. They were too busy being entertained to care that their democracy was crumbling. Fast forward 2,000 years and ask yourself, has anything really changed? Now instead of gladiators, we have reality TV. Instead of the Colosseum, we have social media feeds that never end. Instead of bread, we have cheap fast food and streaming services. The formula is exactly the same, just updated for the digital age. But here's where it gets really dark. Modern entertainment isn't just keeping you distracted, it's been scientifically engineered to keep you weak, passive, and dependent. Netflix didn't accidentally invent autoplay. That feature that automatically starts the next episode before you can even think about stopping. That was designed by teams of behavioral psychologists who studied the same addiction patterns used by casinos and drug dealers. They discovered that the anticipation of pleasure triggers dopamine release in your brain, and if they could keep that dopamine drip constant, they could keep you watching indefinitely. The goal isn't to give you a great viewing experience. The goal is to maximize your screen time, because screen time equals data, and data equals money. Every second you spend watching, they're collecting information about you, your preferences, your emotional responses, your vulnerability patterns. They know exactly which types of content will keep you sedated and scrolling. But the real genius isn't just in keeping you entertained. It's in how entertainment has been weaponized to keep you psychologically weak. Think about the protagonist in most modern entertainment. What do they look like? They're usually ordinary people who stumble into extraordinary circumstances through no effort of their own. They're chosen ones, special because the plot says they're special, not because they developed skills or discipline or character. This isn't accidental storytelling, this is psychological conditioning. You're being trained to believe that success, power, and significance come from external sources. From luck, from being chosen, from having the right genetics, or being in the right place at the right time. You're not being shown stories of people who transform themselves through hard work, sacrifice, and daily discipline. Those stories exist, but they're not promoted. They're not algorithmically boosted, because those stories are dangerous. Those stories might inspire you to turn off the screen and actually do something. The entertainment industry has perfected what psychologists call vicarious achievement. Your brain can't tell the difference between watching someone succeed and actually succeeding yourself. When you watch a hero's journey, your brain releases the same neurochemicals as if you were the one on the journey. You get the emotional satisfaction of achievement without any of the actual work, risk, or growth. It's emotional junk food. And just like junk food, it's designed to be immediately satisfying while leaving you nutritionally bankrupt. This is why you can spend an entire weekend watching motivational content, success stories, and inspiring documentaries, and still wake up Monday morning exactly the same person you were on Friday. You've tricked your brain into thinking you've already done the work. Now let's talk about video games, because this is where the manipulation reaches almost diabolical levels. Modern games, especially mobile games and online multiplayer games, are built on something called operant conditioning chambers. which is just a fancy term for the Skinner box experiments done on rats. Scientists discovered they could keep rats pressing a lever indefinitely by giving them random rewards. Not consistent rewards, random rewards. The unpredictability creates a compulsion that's stronger than any consistent reward pattern. Every loot box, every random drop, every slot machine mechanic in modern gaming is a direct application of this research. They're not trying to make games fun anymore. They're trying to make games addictive. And it works. You've got millions of people, mostly young men in their prime productive years, spending 40, 50, 60 hours a week in virtual worlds, accumulating virtual achievements, building virtual power, while their real lives atrophy. They're channeling all their natural drive for achievement, competition, and status into systems specifically designed to contain that energy and convert it into profit. It's not that games are evil. It's that they've become so sophisticated at hijacking your reward systems that they're more appealing than real life. And here's the thing. That's not a bug. That's a feature. A population of young men sitting in their rooms playing video games isn't organizing politically, isn't building businesses, isn't challenging power structures, isn't reproducing, isn't creating anything that could threaten existing institutions. They're pacified, contained, and monetized. Social media takes this to another level because it adds the element of social comparison and validation. Your brain evolved to care deeply about your status within your tribe of maybe 150 people. Now you're comparing yourself to billions of people, to carefully curated highlight reels, to impossible beauty standards, to manufactured success stories. You're in a constant state of status anxiety, always feeling like you're falling behind, always consuming content about how to improve, but never actually improving because you're too busy consuming. The algorithm knows that negative emotions drive more engagement than positive ones, so it feeds you content that makes you angry, anxious, envious, and afraid. It keeps you in a heightened emotional state where you're reactive instead of proactive, where you're responding to the content feed instead of creating your own reality. You think you're just scrolling for a few minutes to relax, but you're actually training yourself to be a passive consumer of other people's lives instead of an active creator of your own. And here's where it connects back to keeping you weak. Entertainment has become the primary way people regulate their emotions. Had a hard day at work? Watch something. Feeling anxious? Scroll through social media. Feeling lonely? Binge a series where you can parasocially attach to characters. Feeling inadequate? Watch someone else succeed. You're outsourcing your emotional regulation to external sources, which means you never develop the internal capacity to sit with discomfort, process difficult emotions, or build genuine resilience. You're in a constant state of emotional dependence, always needing the next hit of distraction to avoid feeling what you're actually feeling. The military and intelligence communities have known about this for years. There's a reason why during times of war, governments ramp up entertainment production. During World War II, Hollywood went into overdrive producing escapist content. During the Vietnam War, television became the primary babysitter for an increasingly restless population. During every economic crisis, every political scandal, every moment when people might start asking dangerous questions, there's a corresponding increase in entertainment options. It's not a conspiracy in the sense of people meeting in dark rooms plotting this out. It's just that the people in power understand what works. Keep people entertained. Keep them distracted, keep them focused on trivial controversies and celebrity drama, and they won't have the mental bandwidth to focus on things that actually matter. Now, I'm not saying all entertainment is bad or that you should never have fun. The issue isn't entertainment itself, it's what entertainment has become, an industrial system designed to maximize your passivity and dependence. The issue is that for many people, entertainment isn't something they do occasionally to relax. It's become their primary activity, their main source of meaning, their substitute for real achievement and genuine connection. Think about how much of your life is spent in passive consumption versus active creation. How many hours do you spend watching versus doing? How much time goes to scrolling versus building? For most people, the ratio is terrifying. We're spending the prime hours of our lives, the years when we have the most energy and potential, sitting in dark rooms staring at screens, living vicariously through fictional characters and carefully edited influencers. And the worst part is, it feels good. That's the trap. Entertainment is pleasurable, and humans are wired to seek pleasure and avoid pain. But what we're learning is that constant pleasure-seeking leads to a kind of spiritual anesthesia, a numbing of the parts of you that could become strong, disciplined, and powerful. Every hour you spend entertained is an hour you're not spending developing skills, building relationships, creating something meaningful, or confronting the parts of yourself that need to grow. The entertainment keeps you in a perpetual state of comfortable weakness, strong enough to keep consuming, but never strong enough to break free. So what do you do with this information? First, you have to get brutally honest about how much of your time and mental energy is going toward passive entertainment. Track it for a week, and you'll probably be shocked. Second, you need to recognize that the empty feeling after a binge session isn't a flaw in you. It's your deeper self recognizing that you just spent hours of your finite life doing something that didn't move you forward. Third, start treating entertainment like junk food, occasional, intentional, and limited. The goal isn't to become some joyless productivity monk. The goal is to reclaim your agency and direct your energy toward things that actually build the life you want. Remember, the system doesn't need to force you to be weak. It just needs to make weakness comfortable and call it fun. Every moment you spend passively consuming is a moment you're not spending becoming dangerous to the status quo, and that's exactly how they want it. So if you found this perspective valuable, if it made you think differently about how you spend your time and energy, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, because we're going to keep pulling back the curtain on the systems designed to keep you distracted, weak, and controlled. The first step to breaking free is seeing the cage, and now you can't